Please like and subscribe to the Couch and the Rube YouTube channel. Also download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube, our Monday show presented by our friends at Firekeepers Casino and Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. If you've never been to Firekeepers Casino or Dacey's Sportsbook and Tap House, it's a great experience. You don't need to go to Vegas to get the in-house sportsbook experience. You don't need to traipse through 100-degree temperatures and take a flight out there and all that bullshit. Right here in Southwest Michigan. Well, we're in mid-Michigan, but just down the road on I-94 in Battle Creek, Firekeepers Casino. You got the restaurants, the sports book, all that, and then you can also have it at your fingertips with the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. Download the app today. It's all there. Bet the World Cup, bet the Tigers, bet against the Tigers, bet the football futures, which we'll start to get into shortly, Wimbledon, whatever it might be, the golf, which Jason was somewhat successful at this weekend. Jason, how you doing, brother?
I'm not talking about Michigan.
Absolutely. I mean, fucking everybody masturbates.
Yeah, are you raising your voice at me?
Highway to the danger zone.
Let's go green. Go God.
What's up, buddy? It's very, very, on this beautiful day. It's so good to see you. Man, what a day. What's going on? How you doing?
Yeah, I would not have known about the Dusty May news.
I'm not even talking about the Dusty May news. We'll get to that in a second. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Have you ever opened up one of your gambling apps, let's say the Firekeepers iCasino app, and there's money in it, and you weren't expecting it?
Yes.
You have?
Well, usually the best, we've all been there. When
I don't know. I was just there today.
But have you ever done it where you thought you bet one way on a bet and you bet the other way?
No, I knew what I was betting.
Okay.
No, I know what you're saying, but I did not.
That's how it's happened to me.
Okay.
Sometimes I've opened it up thinking I'd won and realized I bet the wrong way. And other times I bet the wrong way on accident and won. And that's a great feeling.
Because with all of the U.S. Open things that happened, especially yesterday watching, and all of the bets I made, I might have, by the way, this bet did hit. Norm's bets did hit the top 30. The Alex Fitzpatrick and Ryan Fox top 30. But I had forgotten about that bet because I did live bet Scotty yesterday. I was getting 9-1 on my money, of course, so I had to fire in a little bit on that. So I forgot about the top 30 bet. So I'm sitting there going like, oh, the Travelers. I'm on the toilet. So I'm like, okay, while I'm on the toilet, let me do both. I log in, and all of a sudden there's a windfall of cash in there. And I'm like, wait, what the? So I had to go to the, where you rarely go, the one category. And by God, there is the top 30 winner. So many bets going on. That was the problem. Usually week in, week out, I don't place as many bets as I did on the U.S. Open. But we'll get to that. But anyway, I just thought it was a great, it's a great day. And then all of a sudden the Dusty May news happens. I'm like, what is going on today? Is it my fucking birthday?
So I would not.
Good for Dusty May.
I would not have known about Dusty May if Chris Solari hadn't called me. Like this is what happens when you have a 9-week-old.
Graham. I'm like, how the phone call started.
I was completely out of the loop. He was like, "You've probably seen the news by now." I was like, "Oh crap!" You never know what that's going to be. You've seen the news by now. What does that mean? Is this something?
Does Solari call you often? Like he actually called you?
Well, he calls me fairly often.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Solari's a caller more than the texter.
See, I can appreciate that. I don't know because usually when I get a call from someone, my first thought is like, oh, who died?
Yeah.
Like if my sister's called me, I go, oh.
Yeah. Anyway, he usually calls me on his drives wherever he's headed. But yeah, no, that is big news. We're going to get into that as well as some listener takes here in a little bit. Yeah, look, the Dusty May thing. Dusty May leaves for the.
It's a good job though
for the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah,
it's a great job.
Got the 9th pick,
and if you got Cooper Flagg, and you're also coming in post a disastrous trade. You're not there when the trade when they trade Luka away. You're not there for all those feelings. You want to be somebody who comes in after that. You don't want to be associated with that time because Mavs fans are going to hate those people regardless, pretty much, if you're associated
Were
with
people mad at Jason Kidd, though? I mean, it's not like he wanted I know there was rumblings he wanted to trade Luka or whatever. But
well, yeah, I got a new GM. The Toronto Raptors GM comes in. He's going to want his own person.
You know what bothers me about it, though? I mean, like, I understand that these guys can take other jobs, but when you sign your second extension, like, there has to be some sort of repercussion, I feel. Like, if I'm a university and we're the way that, today's, college athletics are, I want to make sure I can hold on to someone. I just, in a weird way, I feel bad for Michigan fans. Not like immense, sadness for them. But I could imagine if all of a sudden you get a coach, you're like, damn, dude, we're about to go on a run. And all of a sudden, any NBA job that pops up. Now, by the way, this isn't just any NBA job. Like you mentioned, all of the great things that go along with the Dallas Mavericks. And I can understand if you want to get out of that and go to Dallas, but
this
just sucks if you're a fan. I'm just talking about a fan in general, not necessarily a Michigan fan.
This happened with Izzo early in his career at Michigan State. It started with the Atlanta Hawks, and there were some other offers and opportunities. When you're a coach of a certain age and you've got a lot of your career left and you have to make a decision where you want to be, and especially if you're not a lifer. Like the thing about Dusty, and Izzo, by the time he was Michigan State's coach, had put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this Michigan State program for Judd Heathcote as an assistant, gotten his opportunity, won a national championship in a place that hadn't done it since Magic. Like it felt much more improbable. And then still nearly left for the Atlanta Hawks job. Because what else are you going to do in the college game? And here's an itch that's interesting and
create a legacy.
I always thought Dusty May was going to leave, but I didn't know when it was going to happen. I thought it would happen. It could happen in 5 years. Could happen in 4. He just his age. The idea that somebody who didn't didn't have Michigan Wolverines in his blood,
right?
And is as young as he is and has been other places successfully and had already won a national championship. But the idea that he would coach another 20 years in a day's college athletics in Michigan seemed far-fetched.
Even if he had Michigan blood, it would be kind of wild in today's college landscape.
It's just different.
For someone to want to stay.
It's just different.
So Tom Izzo is the last of, he's going to be a part of the dying breed. Like, after Tom's done, there isn't going to be many coaches like him anymore.
Not guys, I don't think, who have opportunities to leave. Like, I'll be interested to see John Shire at Duke. He's one, apparently, that Mavericks kicked the tires on him, too. So you're talking about a guy who went to Duke, who replaces Krzyzewski, who's had a couple Final Four appearances, and they haven't won it yet. And I would be a little surprised if he leaves before he wins one.
Yeah.
But there's a guy who's really, really young. And so the guy is younger than us. Like, you're going to do your whole career. And maybe
but he is a Duke guy.
He is a Duke guy. And these
you want to build that legacy. Isn't that worth anything anymore, though? Like, is the NBA really that enticing?
The question
outside of the Mavericks job, I mean, like Orlando, I know that job's already filled, right? But
so what's the quality of? I mean, the quality of life is what I would say for these coaches now,
right?
And maybe in a few years, it's better when there is collective bargaining and things are a little more stable if that happens. And maybe now, if you're at one of these programs that like Duke has as much money as they need for any player they want, and so as long as you are in that area and you still got the Duke name, and maybe it's fine. Maybe it's not the headache that it seems like it would be everywhere else. But I think for most coaches, the idea of coaching 25 years, doing what they're doing now, year-to-year roster building, like in the NBA, you know how long you have a player under contract. You know what that looks like. You can sort of strategize and map out a career, how you're going to build a roster. And the thing in Michigan now, and this is where it gets interesting, is, Dusty May had shown a real skill, both at FAU and then at Michigan, real signs of having a special quality in his ability to identify talent and build a roster. And granted, they had resources at Michigan. They're teams that spent more than them, but they were not. They were in the upper tier, I think. And there were certain guys available that aren't always available. You got 3 guys who are going to be first-round picks on your front line. That's a pretty good place to be. But you have to, his ability to put a roster together that fits, that didn't always look like it was going to fit, right? There were a couple times, both, the first year especially, it was like, those guards, they look a little forward. I didn't know how that was going to work. I think that's a talent he has. And the next person, even if they have the resources at Michigan, that'll be the challenge, because that's the challenge everywhere, is how do you want to build it? Do you want to build it through getting, your top 3 or 4 guys almost every year out of the portal. And if you do that, can you sustain something, if not year to year, 3 out of 5 years, 3 out of 4 years, where you're a program that, you're going to miss here and there. You're going to have years where you're not quite as good, where there aren't the certain players available or certain chemistry things don't work out. But by and large, you understand what fits you, how to build it. And Michigan's a national brand. They're going to have money, and so the opportunity should be there. But it's not a skill everybody can do. It's not just about acquiring talent. You have to find guys who are hungry too, and despite the money, who are playing for, who will play together. And look what happened at Kentucky last year. Look how irrelevant Kansas has been since everybody else had money.
But you just won a natty, though. I mean, the momentum's on your side. You could pretty much have a couple bad years or off years.
Yeah, but not if you're the new coach. It's not a. I mean,
not a new coach. I'm talking about May. Like, why would you leave?
Oh, because you want to coach in the NBA. You want to continue to push yourself.
Yeah,
I get it.
Is the NBA all that? Is it?
Is college basketball all that?
I mean, if you're Dusty May, it seems like he had it kind of figured out. He had a nice thing of momentum built up there. That, I don't know, it seemed fun to me if the way he was doing it, the way the new college basketball landscape is. So,
yeah, but every year you got to do it again, and you leave on top. He can always coach in college again, and again, he's not tied to Michigan. He doesn't have the feelings for Michigan that, say, Izzo had for Michigan State in 2000 already, when he had spent 17 years largely there, right?
Yeah,
it's just different, and so I think it'll be very interesting to see what they do and what the dominoes are and who they go get. I'm sure people will say things.
I've heard Billy Donovan, but I'm like, are we sure Billy Donovan? I mean, how long has he been gone out of the college ranks? But
it's a different college basketball,
right?
And that's which may be good for him and may not be. And the other thing at Michigan that's helpful in some ways is it's just not a basketball school. Like, this isn't what stirs the drink. This isn't what is going to make. I mean, people are going to be, that stinks, whatever. But like,
I'm not talking about Michigan.
There's not going to be panic. Number one, they just won a national title, so they're going to be able to live off that.
Right.
With hoops is sort of bragging rights, and that feels great for people. Number two, football is what matters there, and so it would be so much different if this was like what happened with their football program, where people, the sun rises and falls with that football program, and it's not that they can't win in basketball. They just showed they can. It's not that people don't care to some degree about basketball. They do. They care when they're winning, which can be helpful, which can buy you time, and it'll be. They should get somebody really good. The challenge now is, though, I think at hiring a coach today, the challenge is the resume isn't as useful as it used to be, because you don't know if that person can truly do it in this age, right? It's hard to know. I would be inclined to, you want somebody who really knows how to make things work on the floor. You want somebody you got to get somebody who can, you got to get somebody who has a vision for a roster and how they want to build it year to year, and has a vision for a program and a real idea of what they want to do. And they don't have to do it the same way Dusty May did it. You can do it by trying to retain players more, and I think Dusty may have gone down that road eventually anyway. But this is what he took over and what he was left with, and this was the way to do it. I don't know. It's a blow for Michigan, but it's not really, because it's not football. They just won a national title. He was going to leave at some point anyway, and so it's not ideal. If you're a Michigan fan, you'd rather it didn't happen. If you're a Michigan State fan, it's helpful that he left. They're less likely to be great year in and year out with somebody else in Dusty May who'd sort of proven what he could do. But are
you spinning it?
I don't know if this is spin. I'm just telling you. I just don't think it's. I just think it was inevitable. It just happened, somewhere between a year and 4 years earlier than I thought it would. That's all.
I just hate the signing of the second extension, and then all of a sudden,
it's not great. And for the players, look, I have mixed feelings.
It goes with Guskowitz and Batt too. I'm annoyed with the whole landscape of it all too, not just Dusty May.
We'll get into Jay Batt here, because Jay Batt and Dusty May, baby, they're the same person, or essentially.
What?
I don't know.
What does that mean?
I don't know. But I
have to read the tea leaves.
Just saying you're going to be someplace and you're not really from there, and then you're gone quickly, and whatever. But I do think in this day and age where, first of all, the players, they have an interim coach now, which I think prevents the 30-day window from opening up. I'm not exactly sure what all the deals are with retaining that roster, and if they make a change to a permanent coach, and when that happens, if that will open up to those guys. I believe it will. So that'll be interesting. and ultimately who they get and which way they go. I feel bad for the guys because they didn't sign up for this, but it's also not the way it used to be. These are pro contracts. If you sign up to play for the Dallas Mavericks and they fire Jason Kidd, well, this is pros. You signed with the Dallas Mavericks. This is the deal now. And so
isn't it great now that the players are getting paid? You don't have to dance around it. You can just be like, yeah, get over it.
It is what it is.
Yeah. You used to have to be like, oh, these athletes, these student athletes. I feel so bad for the student athletes. What about Dusty's May's kids? They have to move. They have to move again. Oh. You used to have to do that.
Any other thoughts you have on Dusty May? We'll get into more of this, obviously, with our listener takes.
I'm not talking about Michigan.
No.
All right. I do want to. Well, what's your first take beyond that?
All right.
Buenos tardes. It is time for the Detroit Tigers Gambling Update with Gramanito Couch and Jason Nick.
Are we back on the Tigers?
No.
Okay, good. It annoyed me yesterday, the Jahmai Jones thing, and the way the media covers this baseball team.
What about it annoyed you?
Just the way that Jahmai Jones, and by the way, yesterday, the Tigers came back in the bottom of the ninth, and Jahmai Jones was I wouldn't say a big part of that, but a reason why they came back. Because he stretched out like a fucking infield single, and he got there just in the nick of time, and then everybody, Evan Woodbury, and it's like everybody's trying to sit there and, be nice to Jahmai Jones because the whole stadium was booing him, and rightfully so. And Jahmai Jones is being interviewed, and he's like, I've never had a whole stadium boo me before. I just don't understand. Jahmai, you know who you want to blame? Your skipper, A.J. Hinch. He's the reason why the stadium is booing. Have you looked at your stats? I mean, what are we supposed to do as a fan base? Every time that the bases are loaded and Carps is up and then Hinch is like, I don't know, I just fucking, on the Microsoft Surface Chat GPT thing, I fucking realized that Jahmai Jones, he's got a stat advantage here. He's hitting 138, Graham. Like, what are we supposed to, why do we have to baby these MFers? I mean, we just talked about college athletes and them getting paid. Like, I don't want Jahmai Jones to pass away. I just want him off my favorite fucking baseball team. Can we separate the two ever in this fucking media landscape that we have today? It's one or the other. It's like you hate Jahmai Jones. You want bad things. No, I just want to stop watching him play baseball in a Detroit Tiger uniform. If he wants to go to Toledo, let him fucking do whatever in the Toledo. This Make-A-Wish Foundation bullshit that we have going on here. But I'm sick and tired. And then we read every goddamn beat writer or whatever for the Tigers trying to do this soft fucking column or something about Jahmai Jones and how it's just a struggle. Baseball is a struggle. I know it's got to be hard to hit that baseball. But guess what? Your fucking skipper is putting you in terrible situations, and that's why the whole stadium is booing. Now, why can't we just have that as a statement and then just like, well, you hate Jahmai Jones? I don't. He seems like a nice guy. He has a great mustache. I'm sure he's a hit with the ladies. But guess what? I do not want to see him in the Tigers. Like, why is that such a big deal?
Well, so the other thing with this is that he's constantly pinch hitting for Kerry Carpenter, right?
Regardless of that.
But here's the problem with that. Number one, he's batting 146 on the year, right? He's not hitting well, and he's also not just. It's not just his batting.
You can go up and down the stats. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, and so the numbers aren't in A.J. Hinch's favor here, but he's also that guy is not going to get hit when he's up. For the most part. You know what I mean? Like, there are certain guys that you just know when they're up. You're like, Torkelson's up. Not going to happen.
His barrel percentage is 8.8%. Is that good?
It can't be.
Right.
And so the problem also is this. If Kerry Carpenter has to be pinch hit against left-handers every time.
He doesn't.
And so then he can't be a mainstay on your team either. If Jahmai Jones is a better answer at 146 than Kerry Carpenter against half the pitchers, then you got even deeper problems on your roster than Jahmai Jones. You got a Kerry Carpenter problem. You just got to move him too. There's just no point in Kerry Carpenter.
If you are willing to have Carps bat right-handed, which he's left-handed, if you're willing, like, you know what, Carps, just try right-handed. Like, I don't know, I haven't hit righty since I was in college. Like, you know what, try it. Fuck it. There's a reason why we don't like Jahmai Jones. I feel like
nobody doesn't like, but you're right. It's Jahmai Jones is just like Kenny Goins when he was playing center and Izzo had him in that spot. He is like, it's like anybody who people don't like because the coach puts him in a place to fail, right? I mean, it is what it is. There have been Detroit Lions like this over the course of time where it's like, if you're not good enough and yet nobody suggests he's not trying his best.
Like Stavenhagen, what do you do when nothing is working and everything seems stacked against you? Keep showing up, keep running. Like, that's fantastic. How about you do that on another team or elsewhere? I don't want to keep watching.
Maybe we get Stavenhagen on Wednesday.
Yeah. But what happened to the guys that would just call out what's needed to be called out?
Well,
I miss those guys.
Yeah,
old school writers.
Stavenhagen, yeah. Well, those guys also were drunk as hell and
dude, take me back to
making
that.
up quotes
like the homeboy making up quotes to you. I mean, I want those guys back. Make up quotes all you want. At least you're telling me, shooting me straight, or you're talking from the fan's perspective.
The funny thing
not
is,
pussyfooting around the Jahmai Jones situation.
The funny thing is, people don't necessarily believe the media these days, and it's 10 times more truthful when it was in like the 1970s when people believed it and guys were just,
Well, it's truthful, but I'm talking about coming from a place where you're sitting there, and I'm seeing on my timeline about all of these things about Jahmai, like, just keep showing up. You just never, like, sometimes it ain't your year. It's not baseball. Pro baseball ain't your thing.
By the way,
right? Like
Stavenhagen and a lot of those those guys are beat writers, not columnists. The job is not to have an opinion on these guys. That's
what about Jason Benetti? I mean, he's sitting there and he even said he understood the fan base booing him.
Like, credit to him because he works for the Tigers. Now and you should do that because if you're,
I don't want just facts though from a sports writer. I want some
analysis.
A little analysis, but I also want like a little piece of you to want the team to play better as well. Not just giving me facts and then all this pussyfooting around things.
Okay, it's fair, and there are lots.
Joe Falls, like some of these guys, like Terry Foster. At least they would fucking at least tell you.
Their roles were different, and so Joe Falls, great example, and not to shit on Joe Falls because Joe Falls is a legend. But a lot of these guys of that era would basically they wouldn't even go get quotes. They're like, I'm not going to let somebody tell me what I should think. Like here's my
dude, I'm not asking for every single one of those guys. Give me one of those old school guys.
Then you don't have all the information, number one.
It's the internet. It's the internet age. I can get all that shit myself. I just want to read a column about a guy who's just like, Jahmai Jones. Let's stop pussyfooting around Jahmai Jones. Column. Boom. There's my $9.99 a month. Anyway.
All right, another guy people aren't thrilled with these days. Jay Batt.
Pound the bushes.
Couple things on this. One, and I was, we've talked a little bit about Jay Batt, and I'm back working this week, so I'm probably going to do a column on before the Moneyball Pro-Am.
Why we should forgive Jay Batt. Column.
I think the Jay Batt situation is interesting because, again, like Dusty May, I never thought he was a lifer, but I thought once Guskowitz said he was leaving that he might at some point leave earlier. But I didn't think he'd leave before Spartan Ventures began. I didn't think it would be this year. I didn't think it would leave before he saw who the new president was. The fact that he left before his baby even started, before his creation, something that could have been a legacy for his, even began, it makes you a little wonder, like, was there anything he saw in it that wasn't, like, in terms of the finances or anything else that he wasn't sure they had the... Now, Greg Williams, from everything I've been told, is very much still on board. That's not an issue. But in terms of deep pockets at Michigan State, versus what they have at Kentucky, it makes you wonder those things and ask those questions. And those are things that you wonder a little bit because he didn't need to leave. Guskowitz didn't need to leave. There's a lot going on about the Board of Trustees right now, and I am fully on board that has been a shit show for a long time, and that it should be elected differently, chosen differently. I don't think it should necessarily be done by governors either, because then if you get a governor who seemingly hates Michigan or Michigan State or whatever and has an axe to grind, they can put people on the board and people will think, oh, they're doing that intentionally to hurt the school. I don't think that's the best way. I think there are ways to do it with the faculty and the alumni and students and maybe even partly statewide elections. I think there should be a wake-up call to people to actually study who the Board of Trustees members are before elections and things of that nature. The idea of 8-year terms is ridiculous. All that stuff. Rima Vassar and a couple of the others, but there are issues. There are issues there. That said, nothing. I don't think that Guskowitz couldn't have done everything he wanted to do. At minimum, he had a 5-3 vote on everything. Doesn't mean there aren't some headaches. Jay Batt, loses Guskowitz and still has full go of his operation. Now, does he lose a president who is a great fundraiser? and somebody he might have been counting on, yeah, and maybe that is alarming. But the fact that he left this quickly, I don't know. I think both of those guys could have stayed. And I think, if you're Michigan State now, the question really is where you go from here. And as long as you have Izzo, right, you have this sort of staple of face of the department. You have somebody who I think is somebody athletic directors want to work with. You have some stability in that sense. But if you're Michigan State, you need to make sure in 2 to 3 years, whatever Izzo has left, in that time you get football going. So that's the pressure on Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald's timeline is Izzo's timeline to me, because you don't want to be in a situation where football is still struggling and scuffling along where it is. Basketball's in a transition after a legend, and your athletic department's in flux. You got 2 to 3 years to get it right. And I think, there are some hard lessons from what just happened, because you don't want to just automatically have the reaction and say, well, you got to hire a Spartan. You got to hire somebody who went there, who
is that Eric Schultz?
I don't know who that is. But you don't have to do that. That's not Eric Schultz. Well, I don't know Eric, but you have to look for somebody who's willing to not only have a vision, have a lot of those skills, but roll up their sleeves and be willing to deal with a little bit of confrontation when things aren't easy. Show a little bit of toughness. And I think if you're Michigan State, that has to be the disappointing thing about what happened with Guskowitz and with Batt. I mean, you went and you hired 2 outsiders, and both looked to be, I think, really good hires. Guskowitz especially. I mean, I think a lot of people over there are really disappointed. It appears he's on his way out the door. But ultimately, if what happened over at MSU, based on all the information I have, was enough to drive him away after a couple years in the prime of his college president's career. He's 59, 60 years old. It's just not, it's not something like, that's not, you want to avoid that character trait in your next president too. You want to get a lot of the things he had, right? He is somebody, to me, one of his great strengths is that he could sort of meet you where you are. He could be an everyman. He could be interested in what you were into. He was approachable. He had a lot of those things going. And I think he was a pretty good leader. I think he was a dynamic fundraiser. And I think losing that is potentially dangerous for Michigan State and something they have to continue to work on in the next person they hire. But you also have to, and you don't need a John Engler bully, but you have to get somebody who's got a little bit of spine to them and looks at the picture and says, this is annoying. And I'm not saying people shouldn't work to try to get some sort of different way of doing the Board of Trustees. It's going to be tricky. Shorter terms, different ways of doing it. If people ask what you can do, call your legislature. I mean, you got to put pressure on them. That's the way it's going to happen, because they need to get something passed there. I don't know that the gubernatorial. I
have to write my congressman.
But again, it's a difficult thing to change, but ultimately, even if this Board of Trustees, whether it's a train wreck or not, was still in place, they didn't have to leave. They could have kept doing what they wanted to do. They had the go-ahead for Spartan Ventures. They were on the 1 yard line, from what I understand, with the stadium district stuff. A lot of stuff was happening, and so there's either something behind the scenes even further that we don't know, or they weren't cut out for the gig, or they weren't the right fit for that. And that's a harder thing too when you do interview next. You can't keep cycling through presidents and ADs in these 2 to 3 year increments or less. It's not healthy. Not in this day and age where you need, especially at a place like Michigan State, where there's enough money to compete, but it's not automatic. You are a have in the world of college athletics, relatively speaking, but to be among the best, you have to really have people energized. And it is hard to do. Now, the biggest thing you can do to get people energized is like be in the Final Four in basketball in Detroit, win in football. And if you do that, you can create momentum and energy and that can really help that with the next person. But I think Michigan State needs to make sure they make a real tactical hire here, not an emotional one. And it's tough because it takes a while, too. Do you hire an AD permanently before you hire a president? Does somebody want to do that? I think those are things you have to really think through. I'm not sure I would. I'm not sure I wouldn't go with an interim AD until you had a president in place. But the presidential hire will be huge, and I don't know that it. But again, people, including Izzo, act like Guskowitz is the best thing they've ever had, and in certain ways, he may have had traits that made him arguably that. He may have been a great fit if he had decided to stick around. Not being willing to roll up your sleeves and fight, though, or, fight's the wrong word, but not being willing to stick through it, being willing to battle a little bit when I think you would have had, for the most part, public opinion on your side. That side of that side of things keeps you from being the great president everybody said you should be, because that's part of what you have to do as a leader. You got to be willing to put up with some shit and fight through it and do the politics of it. And yeah, the board can suck sometimes. Some of these people don't understand that they weren't elected to, come in with all sorts of initiatives of their own. That's not really what their purpose is, and they sometimes struggle to see that. And that's a pain in the ass. And maybe that needs to be said more. And maybe, the board needs to be changed through some sort of mechanism at some point. It's not going to be easy to do, and it's probably not going to happen soon. So if you're Guskowitz, though, you had everything you needed. You did. You didn't want to be there enough to put up with it, and I think that's the bigger issue.
Well, can you explain to me, though, why Guskowitz and Batt would look at the Board of Trustees as like a roadblock? Like you said, like they still got things passed, but why would you... What is it in like easy terms that I can understand that they would look at the Board of Trustees and go, man, I got to get out of here?
Well, I think there's
that's what I don't.
They felt like there was backstabbing going on a little bit. They felt like there was running to the media, there was leaking, there was just these people weren't So
it was more of a nuisance.
Very much a nuisance. They talk a lot about alignment and how important it is to get where you want to go as a university. They didn't feel like they had that with the board, and when you don't, so I understand that frustration.
But you still could get around them if you're Guskowitz and Batt, though. Even though if you're not all aligned,
you could now,
because if they're going to fight you at every step, then I can understand.
And it's a pain in the ass, right? And if you go someplace where you think it's going to be easier, maybe it's worth it,
right?
And with
Batt, come on, they offered him $3 million per year.
Well, and Batt has stated that he came because of Guskowitz. He came to MSU because, and then so Guskowitz is leaving, and all of a sudden you think, boy, that's the guy who was really he hired me. He's the champ, and I understand why he left. I just didn't think it would happen now. Like the thing you put in place hadn't yet begun. You don't know who the next president. Maybe you get somebody you work with. Great. I think a little more of this is on a little bit of a lack of spine there on those two, because if ultimately they wanted to be there, and some of this, look, this is big boy business. This is what it is, and you have to. If you want talented people, you have to treat them well. Right, that's something Michigan State has to remind themselves to it. You can't. People don't want to always come into a mess, right? If this is the Dusty May thing, like Dusty May was not a Michigan person, and now I'm not saying he came in and they didn't treat him well. What I'm saying is, though, it's not surprisingly he left for a good opportunity. He doesn't have the way fans feel about Michigan basketball, lifelong fans. The way Michigan fan Jordan feels about Michigan basketball is not how Dusty May feels about Michigan basketball, because before 2 years ago, he had no affinity for Michigan basketball, right? And Guskowitz and Batt don't have this lifelong. They were brought in to do a job, and if all of a sudden and I'm sure there are lots of relationships you build and things, but if all of a sudden it's like I don't want to spend the next 5 years of my career dealing with this shit, then they have the right to leave. I think that's also a weakness, and I think that's something when you're hiring people, you have to see that determination and grit in them that they want to stick around. Now,
before I would label it as a weakness, though, I'd want to know, like I said, how hard it was. Like, if they're going to fight you every step of the way and you don't want to deal with them anymore, I can understand that, right?
And I think these are two separate things.
But if you can fight a little bit and get around them and change things, then yes, then I think it is kind of weak if you're going to head out. But
I'd like
if
to
it's
know
out of your hands, then I can understand.
I'd like to know how fundraising was going with athletics, and how if there was anything more to it. That would be the thing that it's worth.
Matt Mancarini on it.
Well, it's something these questions can be asked, and look, Greg Williams is still on, but when you have Izzo and Greg Williams
and Don,
when you have that force of that commitment financially is a sort of an anchor to what you're trying to do. It's a starting point. That's a really good place to be, and And Fitzgerald, I think, is the sort of coach who people can rally around and can be, and Nightingale certainly is. And so the coaching thing could be there, could be set. And if you can get football going a little bit, this isn't the end of the world. It's just gravely disappointing. And it sets back momentum in a big way. And, I think that Jay Batt and Guskowitz shouldn't be completely devoid of blame. They chose to leave, and I don't think they had to. You have any other takes?
Yes. Lastly, with the U.S. Open, I want to talk a little bit about, shout out to Wyndham Clark, a great wire-to-wire win. The guy played his balls off, and it kind of disturbed me the way the crowd was reacting. That's a bit of the story at Shinnecock of the lack of crowd, and then the crowd is saying too much to some of these golfers. And I've been fortunate enough to be at some of these, at the Memorial Rocket, and listening, being in the crowd and hearing some of these guys, obviously not as bad as they were at Shinnecock. And listen, Wyndham Clark, definitely a guy that's had his faults last year at Oakmont, bashing up the locker room. But there's a thing of when you apologize, and he's apologized, he's done everything that Oakmont wanted him to do to get back in the good graces of that club. Like, we all make mistakes. And yes, I was rooting against Wyndham Clark too, because I didn't have an outright Wyndham Clark bet, top 5, anything. So I wanted to see a good tournament. Hopefully we get Scotty in the mix. So I was rooting against him. The difference is when a guy hits a great shot, like he did that up and down on 4 yesterday to save par, I looked at it and was like, damn, I think he's going to win today. Like, that's a great shot. Like, there's a difference of mentality of some of these guys. And a lot of these, in the media, they want to blame sports gambling because that's what they think it is. People are yelling for sports gambling. I feel people want to be famous, and they go to these events and they think if they yell mashed potatoes after a guy hits a drive, like someone's going to go, oh my God, that guy is really cool. Guess what? You're not. A lot of these guys are not cool, and thankfully what they're doing at these tournaments is they're throwing some of these guys out, and you have to do that because I don't know another way it's going to change. And I'm not saying sports gambling and betting on these guys doesn't drive some people to possibly think about yelling in a guy's backswing or something to that effect. A lot of guys are yelling at these players to try to get a reaction because guess what? It gets you clicks, it gets you views. But in the end, does anyone respect you?
If you took away phones the way they do at the Masters in every one of these tournaments,
I would totally do it.
Yeah.
I need my device since I'm a type 1 diabetic, so I could get around, But I'm saying in general, I would have no problem. Because I take a couple pictures, I have a video or two, and then I put my phone away and try to soak it. And that goes for concerts or golf tournaments or wherever I'm at. I like to try to get a couple shots, some video, and then I'm done for the day. I'm going to sit there and watch the golf tournament, and I love the game of golf. It means a lot to me. I love anyone. If anybody is playing golf well around me, I love watching it. It doesn't matter if it's pro guys, someone I'm golfing with, or just guys that are scratch golfers. I could sit there and ride around in a cart with a guy that's a scratch golfer. Like, goddamn. Because when the game is played beautifully, and when you play the game and suck at it, you realize these shots, are so few and far between of hitting these great shots. So I just think it's more of a social media where some of these little dweebs that get at these courts, and I've seen some of these guys, and some of these guys are funny, that say certain things at certain times. It's all about timing. But if you're sitting there, believe me, I love a Baba Booey as much as the next guy because of the old Howard Stern days. But if you're really thinking that you're going to become famous or whatever you're doing because you're yelling mashed potatoes or get in the bunker, because like Rory, I don't know how Rory McIlroy does it. Because Rory deals with a ton of shit too. And people get mad at him because when you have guys tossed out. But I just don't know another way. And some may consider it soft because, you can't handle being yelled at, get in the bunker. I don't know. But it's just, it's a whole vibe of the person that's yelling that. They're not going to stop. And they're going to do it continuously. And it just bothers me. I just hate people that are entitled. No matter if you're on an airplane or wherever.
This should be a 2 strikes lifetime ban from the tour. You yell once, you're an idiot, you're drunk, you forgot, whatever.
You deserve a warning, absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't want to be
the second time
North Korea, but
the second time it's a personality trait, it's a character flaw. You're done. That's it. Right. You just don't come back. It's pretty. I think it's pretty easy to.
It was just wild to watch a guy that was from the United States, like Wyndham Clark. I just don't remember a guy being that hated for what? Because he bashed a couple lockers or something. It was definitely immature, but when I appreciate from not just golfers but human beings in general, because I know I do the same with myself. I've made a ton of mistakes in my life.
I don't think so.
And I admit to that at least. At least you can admit when someone can admit they're wrong and, repent for some things that they've done in their past. But I can't think of anything Wyndham Clark, other than leading by a lot at a golf course I was lied to about. Supposed to be windier. No one was going to shoot over, under par. I'm like, what the fuck? So it definitely messed up my betting. But I learned a lot from this year's Open for sure. So anyway.
You know what else today is, by the way?
Oh, no. What?
What were you going to say?
I'm sorry. I was going to ask how I forgot to ask how your Father's Day was, and I was going to... Anyway.
Oh, well, you can ask.
My brain thinks out loud sometimes,
yeah.
And I was like, ooh. Anyway, what's up, buddy? How was your Father's Day?
It was.
But what day is it today, so you can tell people?
It's the beginning of muskox flannel season. So yesterday...
It's like the second day of summer.
Nope, yesterday. It is, but yesterday was the longest day of the year. Father's Day, yes. Also the longest day of the year. Today is the first day it starts to get shorter. We start to move toward fall. It's the beginning, start to think, what am I going to wear in September? Or just put on a muskox flannel hat like I have right now, which is one of my gifts for Father's Day, by the way. Pretty damn cool.
You only get 2 months of really nice weather here. You have to do a countdown clock for fall. I mean, I'm with you. I love muskox. I love fall, but Jesus.
I'm just saying, go muskox.com if you want to, if
it's not 5 o'clock and it's pitch black out. I enjoy it now.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying you start to think, what you want to wear to the football games. That's all.
So what did you get for Father's Day?
I got this hat, this muskox hat, and I also
from Brad Hoos.
Absolutely.
Nice.
And it was from my wife, but via muskox, and then also a bunch of shirts that apparently will help me look more trim than I actually am, which is pretty cool.
Really, not really the trim part is the problem. It's that when I go back and I cut up clips or something for the YouTube shorts, is that you're wearing the same shirt.
The Frandor one. So I have 4 of these Frandor shirts. That's the funny thing. And different states of being. And sometimes I just
scroll and I just laugh my ass off.
I love
couch. Believe me, I only have a rotation of maybe 6 or 7, so I shouldn't talk that much shit. But
Elizabeth gets a little tired of it too. We also got Cora got me. I think Elizabeth helped this and her mother.
That's right, Cora.
This sort of quilt for her to lay on and play and stuff that's made up of both our father's old shirts, which is pretty damn cool. So that was a fun part of Father's Day, which started at
you shed a tear on that one. I would have shed a tear. That's sweet.
Yeah, it was nice. Which started at 3 a.m. for Cora, so it was the longest day of the year, and I felt every single hour of it.
And you're already doing payback for the World Cup trip, right?
Oh,
Elizabeth seemed to. She took you up on that, right as soon as the flight landed.
She had a beach. She went to a friend's cottage on Friday, and it was like, I'm out, and she left Cora with me. That's it. So it was good.
Crushing some grape.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we when we come back, intern Nolan is here.
That's right, he's here
with his with his takes on what we said and other things, and then we'll get into these listener takes as well. Our Monday Couch in the Rube, presented by our friends at Firekeepers Casino and the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app.
Where else can you cheer on your team? Enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi. Sip on handcrafted cocktails or one of 46 beers on tap. Take your game day or date night to Cask & Company Kitchen Bar or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. 2 amazing places with 1 awesome blended modern American Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask & Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing. Come enjoy irresistible, award-winning, handcrafted donuts and locally roasted coffee at Groovy Donuts. Surprise your family or coworkers with special holiday designs and flavors, or put the perfect finishing touch on an event with a custom order. Birthdays, weddings, gender reveals, our friends at Groovy Donuts are your answer. Experience the Groovy Donuts difference for yourself on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing or in Williamston. Get more information or place an order at groovydonuts.com. Firekeepers Online Casino and Sportsbook is the site to play. From your phone, tablet, or laptop. Get in on all the football action with pre- and in-game wagering. There's showdowns every week in football that you can't miss. Plus, the college and pro hoops are red hot, and the pucks are cool. Get your first casino deposit and sports wager matched up to $500 each. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and located in Michigan. Gambling problem? Call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-270-7117.
Please like and subscribe to the Couch in the Rube YouTube channel. Also download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
Couch in the Rube, our Monday show presented by our friends at Firekeepers Casino and Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. Download the app today. Bet responsibly, but you can have some fun with it on the World Cup, the Tigers, Wimbledon, whatever you want right there. And also futures in football, college football futures. You think Michigan State's going to win more than 3.5 games, 4 games, those sort of things available on the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. Before we dig into our listener takes, Nolan the Intern is here today, and Nolan, you heard our open, and what was anything that stood out, and what do you want to get into here?
Well, first off, you said today is the first day of Flannel Day.
Well, it's the beginning of preparation. It's the days are getting shorter.
Okay.
We're headed towards winter.
Okay, that's fair enough. Well, it's also my brother's 24th birthday, so I was like, happy birthday, Derek. Love you, brother.
He's doing shout-outs.
I'm doing shout-outs. Shout out my brother.
This motherfucker.
I had to. Got to promote my brother.
Shouting him out. Is he watching right now?
No, I'm just
right.
He'll like listen.
Oh,
my dad will listen too.
Nice.
So
happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday,
remember,
Derek.
we had
Let's go to Omar's.
We had a couple listeners who used to say sup to their friends, sup tea or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
I wanted to give him a shout-out.
Absolutely. Happy 24th.
Happy 24th, Derek.
Right.
Let's go to Cancun later, I don't know.
Mexico?
Yeah, no, the restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
There's one in South Lion. There's also one in Okemos, but the one in South Lion's phenomenal.
That's very different than Cancun, Mexico. The South Lion, Cancun.
It's
where Greg and Don Williams eat.
Yeah.
Well, they love it.
So chill.
But let's talk about Dusty May. We're talking about Dusty May for a little while there. I kind of wanted to give my input. So obviously him leaving was definitely one of the biggest surprises in college basketball. We all thought he was going to stay. Out of every Michigan fan I know, my dad especially, he's like, there's no way he leaves because he was there for 2 seasons. Not only is he ranked both seasons, his first season there takes him to the Big Ten tournament, takes him to the March Madness Sweet 16 team, loses, ranked team anyway. He comes back, wins it all the next season. But also at FAU, he was a winner. He took him to the Final Four as a 9 seed in 2022-23. And also, March Madness again the next year with another like 11 seed. Like, he's a winner, and it was just him leaving was very surprising. But people are saying like he was leaving to try to avoid like the tampering scandal, tampering and transfer portal, which I'm not true. I don't think that really happened. I don't think he really tampered. But people were saying he might be trying to leave to try to avoid those consequences, which
I don't
believe it.
I would be surprised if there's any. I mean, again, I don't know everything. You never know everything about anybody, but based that accusation that people have for him, which may or may not be fair, but people are not necessarily putting their names with. I would be stunned if anything came of that. Like that was actually was going to be problematic for him. I think ultimately what you said right there, though, he's a winner, right? I mean, that's why he got this opportunity. And I think at a certain point, what else is there to do at Michigan other than build and sustain a program? You have to decide, do you want to try and win somewhere else or do that, right?
I mean, like you said, yeah, he is a winner. He did already win at FAU. He had nothing else to prove. He had nothing else to prove in college basketball. He already did everything that, honestly, an accomplished coach could do. He did it in like 8 seasons or 7. I'm not sure. His entire coaching career started at 2018 at FAU. So, I mean, he had a successful college career, but him going to Dallas now at the Mavericks, I think it's going to be a huge jump for Dallas. Obviously, they're already led by Cooper Flagg, who just won Rookie of the Year. They also have a solid team there, and they also have 2 first-round picks this year in the upcoming draft, the 9 and the 30th pick. So I think that this Dallas team next year, if they choose right, if they want to trade up or trade some of their picks, they could be a good team, especially led by a winner in Dusty May.
Well, you got a new GM there, so who's hired you, so that helps. He'll get some time, and look, you got a young, really promising player, and I think the NBA is hard for the coach to make a tremendous impact. It's a players' league. I mean, you got to have a good coach too, but he'll need the horses to do it. But it's a good job relative to some others. I mean, I don't know, Jason, of the NBA jobs that would likely be available, that one seems all right because you got a Cooper Flagg.
It
right?
seems like the best option for him, yes. Like, why wouldn't you want to go do that? After you won a natty at Michigan, if you're not going to try to build a legacy there, and that Dallas job does pop up. It was like Izzo with the Cleveland job. If LeBron didn't go to the Heat and decided to stay, it would have been asinine for Izzo to stay here if that was his dream. So to be able to coach a guy like LeBron.
I think the only reason to stay beyond the national championship is twofold. One, you decide you want to try and build, sustain something and be great. You want to do what Hurley's doing at UConn, or you want to try and do something like that, right? It'd be the biggest thing in college basketball, which in Michigan is a little difficult to do because you have but his fan base would be behind him now that he's won it. That thing's, I think you'd have better crowds than they had his first year.
But if Dusty May took the Charlotte Hornets job, like why would you want to leave Michigan and go coach some guys like that?
Yeah, they're on.
But Dallas, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, the one thing about coming back one more year, I've always thought, and this is my own personality, that it would be fun to coach a team the year after you won a national championship. To run it, just to be the guy who runs it back. To be a reigning national champion as you're coaching a team, to me, feels fun. And so that would be my only reason, at least, to do one more year. I don't think he'd be any less of a hot name a year from now, as long as they didn't completely fall off the map, even if they didn't win at all. But this is a good opportunity, and I don't think he would have left for just anything. I don't think he was lying on that. I don't think he was looking for a way out now. I think this was there for him. If Jason Kidd doesn't get fired, my guess is he's the coach at Michigan next year, and that's the way these dominoes sometimes fall.
Nolan, let me ask you a question. We were talking about the U.S. Open and the people yelling. Those are the age bracket of guys that were getting kicked out. Have you ever yelled anything in a public space to try to get some clout for your social media at all? Do you understand what I'm saying on that, or where do you come from?
I get what you're saying. I've never, not that I recall, I've never been in a public setting with especially I've been to the Rock and Mortgage 2 times. I've never once screamed after someone after hit the wall or in their backswing. I've never understood the purpose of that.
Do you have buddies that do that kind of stuff?
Not that I know of. No, okay. Thank goodness. I don't.
You can still call your friends mom and dad Mr. and Mrs. So I feel like you're the one. I'm not talking about guys like you that go to these events. I just think these guys have a couple of cocktails and all of a sudden they think if they fire something out, it's going to gain traction on Barstool or something, and they're going to become famous and get their own show and stuff.
You never asked John Daly if he's had how many chocolate milks he's had.
Never in my time. I wish. I'd probably get berated for that, but I don't know. I never understood the purpose.
That's what happened to Jason.
I wasn't berated. I just was ignored.
You had your soul.
But you asked John Daly how many chocolate milks he had?
Yes, I did.
Oh, God.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. No, it was a while ago when I told this story.
The best part about it is, though, the whole best part to me is when he goes back over to Therese, his wife. She says, "Oh, babe," like it was such demoralizing.
It was. It didn't go how I thought it went. And I thought it wasn't, it's not like yelling mashed potatoes, because he did do a YouTube series with DeChambeau where they were talking about chocolate milk. I watched the whole thing. I thought it was kind of clever to ask him. I didn't know what else do you say. That's why I shouldn't be around anyone famous whatsoever, because I don't know what I would even ask him. That's what I asked my wife when we're sitting there. I'm like, what would you ask Will Ferrell? You know what I mean? Like if you just go, you're just, I don't know. I just be sitting there. It's the Chris Farley SNL skit with Paul McCartney where he's just saying, remember the time when you wrote Hey Jude? That's me in any celebrity kind of arena. So that's why I just kind of.
Well, do you get nervous around celebrities? Do you get nervous at all? Because I kind of do.
I got to say, I wasn't nervous with the John Daly thing. It's just because there was so many people and it was in between the 11th and 12th hole at this golf tournament where everybody was sitting up by the 12th hole to watch John Daly tee off. So they all heard me. And that's why when I went back over, she knew, because we talked about it on the way there about, should I say something? I don't know. But when I first saw John Daly, because, golf tournaments are so beautiful that you can walk amongst these legends. But I ended up running into him even before that whole mess when I was walking to the bathroom and he came whipping around in his cart with his caddy, and my just natural reaction, my body just went, JD! I just yelled that. I didn't even think about it, so I was nervous after that because I go, dude, I'm just starting to blurt shit out. You know what I mean? I'm like, so these U.S. guys at Shinnecock here, but I'm not that bad. But you know what I mean? So anyway, yeah. But if I saw John Daly again, I don't know what probably wouldn't say anything.
I'm sorry for the chocolate milk question.
I'm not sorry for it because I thought it was kind of, it was an okay. But by his caddy walked by, he's like, he's had 13, by the way, because he felt bad for me too. And I'm like, damn, dude, he looked right because he had sunglasses on. So I don't know. He looked like he was miserable and hungover. So yeah, But anyway,
I met Mike Tirico one time. I was like at an event and I shook his hand. I was like sweating. I was like profusely sweating.
For Tirico?
I met Mike Tirico. Well, I was at the Rocket Mortgage like celebrity event. Like we do like the pros play with like the celebrities, or, like the people you raffle. Yeah. I went with my mom because she was there, and he was doing like the he was like announcing like who was playing with who, and I got the opportunity to go up to him just like he was leaving, went to shake his hand because obviously like I'm like. He does broadcasting. Like I want to do broadcasting.
Was your hand like slimy? And
it was like I was like,
God.
Mr. Tirico. Like I was shaking a little bit. I was like, oh, like what do I do? I was like, I love you, man. I had to say I love you. I was like, what did I say? I was like, man,
dude, he's not even in the room and you're freaking out.
I told you, I get nervous. I get nervous. I get high. I get sweaty. I get red. I mean, it's terrible.
It's like me and Ron Banks, man.
It happens, man.
All right, tell him who Ron Banks is.
It's just a high school legend.
Yeah,
around here.
High school legend.
Yeah. Just a couple years older than me, or a year old. Well. 4 years older than me, 1 grade ahead, I think. But, something like that.
4 years older, 1 grade ahead?
I'm just kidding. Oh. I just remember, that's not for this.
Wow.
No, I just remember I was a very young freshman, and he was an older sophomore, and he was like 6. He looked like a grown man in school, and I looked like a child. And when I was starting that song.
When you like walk into high school as a freshman, you see all the seniors, you're like, man, I'm like a puny kid. I felt so scared.
Yeah.
First day, then my brother was a senior, and I was a freshman, so I got to hang out with his friends, and I felt cool. That was a cool time.
All right, what else you got for us, Nolan?
Talking about the Pistons a little bit. Talking about maybe the possibility of us getting Tyler Hero and Bobby Portis. Part of this, if Giannis gets traded to the Heat, which is increasingly looking more unlikely. As I think I've been seeing a lot of stuff saying he might go to Boston, which is very unfortunate for us because then we wouldn't get Tyler Hero or possibly, like I said, Bobby Portis. But if this 3-way trade goes through between the Pistons, the Heat, and the Bucks, it looks like Giannis would go to the Heat. Tyler Hero would come to the Pistons. Bobby Portis would come to Detroit, and I think it'd be great for us. I think in the return that they would have to give up, what I'm thinking is Ron Holland, which kind of sucks for giving up on our fifth overall pick from 2 years ago so early, but he just hasn't really produced what we thought he'd be able to produce. Isaiah Stewart, another guy gone, which kind of sucks. I liked him a lot too. He's kind of like he was with us in our bad times. Drafted him in 2020 out of Washington, and I like him a lot. He's a good good 3-point shooter. Good interior defender. He's kind of like our gritty guy, like I'm not saying our Bill Lambier type of guy, but he gets physical and he's not afraid to go against anybody. I think he's a great player. And then either Duncan Robinson or a first-round pick, which I can honestly live with. I think Duncan's a great player, but he's just a liability on defense half the time.
I do not think they'll trade that first-round pick because they worked hard to on the swap to get the 21st pick.
Yeah.
And I guess there are scenarios where you get the right player, but I think you're right on Stewart. I think Holland is an asset. Look, that's what most of these guys are. At a certain point, if you got to take that next step, players that you sort of like or you're hoping to develop, part of their purpose is to be an asset for you, right? And that's the way it is. And the Pistons need another shooter and they need another ball creator. Hero can't really defend anybody, but neither could Duncan Robinson. He's on the floor all the time. So yeah, look, if they get Tyler Hero and they don't have to give up the core guys. Isaiah Stewart wasn't on the court at the end of those playoff games, right? He wasn't playing at all.
And isn't that the problem with Isaiah Stewart, that it kind of like all eyeballs are on him anytime that there's an elbow or some physical play? It kind of so that you lose some of your, I don't know, trying to figure out what the word. It's like your tangible though was Isaiah Stewart's tangible is that he was feared because guys would not mess around, but now if he does anything, he's got a 7-game suspension.
Well, it was just unfortunate because you see him every time there'd be a confrontation between, I think there was some chippiness going on between the Magic and the Pistons round one.
Orlando. They're a bunch of pussies.
And literally. Yeah. But Stewart wouldn't even be in the game. He'd be on the bench, and the camera would just pan to Isaiah Stewart like he's going to get off the bench and go throw hands. I remember the LeBron altercation in 2022.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome. I'd love that.
That was like your Malice at the Palace.
That was great. I wasn't there for it.
Well, I understand.
The only fight.
I wasn't at the Malice at the Palace.
I wish I was. I wish I was there for that. Awesome. But I did see. I went to a lot of Pistons games in my life. My favorite one was when we still had Killian Hayes on our team, and he ended up punching Franz Wagner in the back of his head. It's 3 years ago. It was awesome. It was like a whole scuffle and it was awesome. That was my birthday gift too. So I saw Killian Hayes, who I was so high on as well, just go ballistic and to elbow some guy in the back of the head, and the bench is cleared. It was sweet. But overall, I still wouldn't be mad about getting Tyler Hero at all either. I mean, giving up our players, it sucks leaving guys, who want to be here, but getting Tyler Hero, people were questioning him being healthy. He only played 33 games last year, but he still averaged 20 points and 5 rebounds. So I think he's automatic. I mean, I'm not even going to say he's better than Duncan, but if he's getting rebounds, that's what we need. and Duncan Robinson wasn't really doing that for us, and he's an efficient three-point shooter. I'll take him over Duncan any day of the week. And also Bobby Portis, he's a great defender as well. So I think we kind of, if we get those two guys.
Bobby Portis is crazy.
I love that. We're getting him for nothing. It's like a 2-year deal. Get him for like $10 million. I mean, pretty cheap for how good of a player.
Nobody messes with Bobby Portis.
Yeah, he's big. He's big dog. Yeah. He's a big dog. But I mean, he's a little older as well. But if we manage to get those both and only give up Holland, Stewart, and Duncan Robinson, I think that'd be a steal for us. And then possibly Zach LaVine too. But I don't think we'll get Zach LaVine. But it'd be great if we did.
That is Nolan, the intern. Yes. I appreciate you, man. Good stuff. And you have a good Father's Day yesterday?
Oh, I had a great Father's Day.
Yeah.
You got a kid?
I wish. Nah, not yet.
You don't.
You don't want your age.
I mean, obviously not right now, but in the future, yeah. I can I don't know. I'd be a great dad, I think. I think I would be a great dad one day.
All right.
Have you come over at 4 a.m. and do some babysitting?
Yeah, I think I'll pass on that. My dad took us to go see this movie yesterday, Disclosure Day.
Okay.
He took us to we were at Buffalo Wild Wings with my grandparents 2 days before, the day before on Saturday.
Hell yeah.
And my grandparents, what I've learned about grandparents is that, so they've seen the movie too. And they say if it's really bad, it means it's a really good movie. And if they say it's good, it's a really bad movie. And they said it was terrible. So I was going in with really high hopes. And I came out with really high hopes. It was a good movie. Steven Spielberg delivered again. But then we went to Baskin Robbins because my dad likes their ice cream. Likes their bubblegum ice cream. It's like only found there. And he goes let's go and my sister goes, I got you this tub of ice cream for Father's Day. He goes let's go. So we drove to Baskin Robbins, got that, and then we came back and had cake for my brother's birthday. It was sweet.
Hell yeah.
It's great. It's great.
Outstanding.
I'm glad you had a great Father's Day.
I am too. Baskin Robbins ice cream sounds amazing.
It's really good.
I'd love a
tub. Maybe some Cold Stone right now. It's Cold Stone.
That's a hot take. Yeah. Baskin Robbins ice cream's good.
You don't think it's good?
No, we're kidding.
That's
right.
Oh, I'm about to say that place is great.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That is Nolan, the intern. We will be back.
Thanks, Nolan.
And we'll take one more break here and then come back with your takes as well. Couch in the Rube, our Monday show presented by our friends at Firekeepers and the Firekeepers Casino and Sportsbook app.
Award-winning, handcrafted donuts and locally roasted coffee at Groovy Donuts. Surprise your family or coworkers with special holiday designs and flavors, or put the perfect finishing touch on an event with a custom order. Birthdays, weddings, gender reveals, our friends at Groovy Donuts are your answer. Experience the Groovy Donuts difference for yourself on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing or in Williamston. Get more information or place an order at groovydonuts.com. Firekeepers Online Casino and Sportsbook is the site to play. From your phone, tablet, or laptop. Get in on all the football action with pre- and in-game wagering. There's showdowns every week in football that you can't miss. Plus, the college and pro hoops are red hot, and the pucks are cool. Get your first casino deposit and sports wager matched up to $500 each. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and located in Michigan. Gambling problem? Call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-270-7117.
Please like and subscribe to the Couch in the Rube YouTube channel. Also download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
Couch in the Rube, our Monday show presented by our friends at Firekeepers Casino and the Firekeepers Casino and Sportsbook app. You can download the app, have the casino, the games, all the good stuff, and also the sportsbook right at your fingertips. It is time now to dive into our listener takes. Jason, are you ready, sir?
Yes, let's do it. Money bag up first. I'm going to find out the truth about how much bigger Dusty May's bags were than what other schools are offering. I think most of that roster stays intact for this year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much. I do think Michigan had more than a lot of places, but again, this is pro sports now, right? And I may shit on the Yankees or Dodgers or whatever when they've got more than some other people, but that's just the reality of it these days. And so, if you have more money, you have more resources. Good on you. Look, Michigan State is a place that Michigan State's going to have more than 10 million as a roster on as a roster next year and double what they had at least last year. So when you it's not like MSU's poor in the basketball world, and this is the way it plays out. I do think it'll be interesting to see if somebody can continue to do what Dusty did, because I think it's hard. even if you have money, to get it right, to get guys who are motivated, who want to play together. And so, yeah, this will be revealing of the next coach. It's just, it's hard to do it one after another. The same thing will happen to Michigan State when Izzo's gone. Lots of people will want that job. Can you get the person who's the right fit and somebody who really has the ability to construct and retain and build a roster in their vision? And there are multiple ways to do it right now in college basketball, but there's no guarantees.
Peasy next. Izzo has outlasted yet another Michigan coach. Curious who they target to replace May. Tough spot with the portal closed.
They'll get somebody good. It is tricky. You don't want to it'll be interesting to see if somebody in the NBA is interested. It's a big enough job that I don't think it's not an ideal spot, but you come into a decent roster if you can retain it. I don't know what those contracts will say despite the port. They're likely to have contracts that are
But is it not a great spot because of just winning a national championship, and that's what the expectation is?
It's not as good a spot as it was before, and it's also not the advantage of Michigan basketball is it used to be that if you go there and you win enough, and you're competitive and you enter, you can coach there a long time, and the crowd is what the crowd is. It's just not. It's not. Basketball is not what stirs the soul, and there are advantages to that. I think there are disadvantages to that too. But Michigan basketball is a huge national brand, and it's, I don't know, the right persons, will want that. There are a lot of people who want the challenge that's there, and wouldn't mind replacing a coach who just won it. But there are people who might think, boy, this isn't the right time as well.
Bartholomew, Michigan basketball is a stepping stone university, and you just hate to see it.
Yeah, to the NBA, I don't. You win a national title, it's not a stepping stone.
I'm not talking about Michigan.
There's lots of things. I mean, look, if I were a Michigan State fan, I would feel good today that they weren't going to have Dusty May anymore because he's a worthy adversary. But leaving for the NBA after winning a national title is hardly a stepping stone that most schools wouldn't sign up for.
Mike McClure next. Assuming none of the players leave, how does Dusty May's departure affect State's chances in the Big Ten, both this year and long term?
Well, it helps in the sense that the odds that the next coach is as gifted at Dusty May and roster construction and coaching are less, right? And we also don't know if Dusty May could have done it year over year. He did it once. The year before he did it really well, but they were, not quite the team that they weren't. They were okay. They were a Sweet 16 team. They had some real shortcomings, and they dug in and did it differently. And I think they learned a lot, and I think they would have had a lot of other good years. But it helps because you're losing a coach who had proven he could do it. And we've seen it at Michigan. We've seen it at a lot of other places. There are just no guarantees.
Kurt Wisniewski next. Number one, the Tigers' sweep against the White Sox was spiteful. Skubal, Mize, and Torres still need to be traded. And two, something's brewing in East Lansing. Despite the political board of trustees nonsense, MSU football will shock the Big Ten this season and go 8-4.
I don't know if 8-4 is the word shock. If those two things.
I would be shocked if they went 8-4.
But the Big Ten wouldn't be shocked. That's not like you're not shocking the world. You might be shocking your fan base. It's not. Shock is like.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's right. Like shock the world, man. 8-4. It's not. Doesn't really have that ring.
Unless there's the narrative of like people taking the under 3.5 wins and then they go 8-4.
People will be surprised,
but people in the Big Ten would be shocked too. I guess. Yeah. Jonathan Smith's burner. I can't believe I'm getting excited about 8-4 though. Like I saw that and I'm like, fuck yeah, really? He thinks we could go 8-4? Like it's just pathetic. Jonathan Smith's burner. Number one, Jay Batt is soft. He was looking for an excuse to get out and took the first one he got. And two, Wyndham Clark is more hated than Patrick Reed and baked. Scott Harris has the negotiating prowess of J.D. Vance. What an idiot. And they both have sex with couches.
But not this couch.
Set you up for that one.
Thank you. Yeah. With Jay Batt, I'd love to know the full story. He went to a place that does have. He went to an interesting place in Kentucky because Kentucky is in the SEC a basketball school in a football conference, in a place where football still drives the finances a lot and needs to be competitive, and you're trying to be big time in football, and then basketball. You've got all this money and all these deep pockets and all this.
I mean, look at what he did with Georgia Tech. Like, I'm not going to be rooting for the guy, but I think they're fine.
Oh, he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
No, that's what I mean.
There's a reason why they paid him $3
I'm just saying it's an interesting challenge, an interesting job, because it's in a football world down there, you are the basketball school. And you also have just an insanely passionate basketball fan base, and a large one.
Austin Merwin next, with Pat Fitzgerald entering his first season as head coach of Michigan State football in 2026 after the program struggled under Jonathan Smith. What are the biggest keys for him to restore Spartan toughness and competitiveness in the Big Ten, particularly on defense?
Well, I do think keeping Joe Rossi, hiring Max Bullough, those are guys who sort of fit what you're looking for, right? And you have a guy where the defense improved as the season went along, and that was something that Jonathan Smith wanted to be judged on. It was something he wanted and was to be a program that improves throughout the course of the season. They really didn't do that overall, but the defense last year went from a weakness to a strength, and that's why Joe Rossi was back, because I think everybody could see that was, and there was not only the emotion on the sidelines, but guys played for him, right? That looked to be a fit. Obviously, Max Bullough, people know. But I think the real key is, do they have the size, depth, speed to, because you can say all that stuff, and yet you get a couple injuries, you get dinged up, it gets to late October, and you're playing young guys, you're playing guys who aren't ready, and as much as you want to have that persona, some guys just aren't ready for it yet. So I think the key to getting there is in the recruiting. It's the size you recruit. It's the it's not just the mentality, but it's size and depth, and I think that's the key. The ability to be in November, able to finish games.
Poplawski's knee brace next. Izzo will now stay at MSU for minimum 2 more years. He won't leave the school in chaos with no AD or president. And bonus, a story came out Sunday that said new dads get smaller brains. The more involved the dad, the more brain reduction. Have fun.
Well, I mean, I don't.
But that's not couch. That's why you have a kid when you're 47 years old. Like, you just get past all that.
The brain's just done.
Yeah, you're a fully developed full dad. You had full dad body before Cora was here.
That's true. I've had a dad
That's why
bod
you have
and
a
then
kid
some.
at 40. Yeah.
Yeah, dad bod and then some. Yeah. Is what they.
You imagine Al Pacino, those guys, those like De Niro and Pacino had kids in their 80s. Like,
I don't.
Like, why would you do that, dude?
Yeah,
unless the chick was like, I'm not gonna have sex with you unless you put a kid in me. Like, I'd be like, all right, matey, Al Pacino. Sparty Barb, number 1, Izzo is wrong about Kevin Guskowitz being the best president that MSU ever had. That title belongs to John Hanna, an educational innovator and civil rights leader. KG was neither. 2, MSU women's basketball finishes in the top 5 in the conference this year. With more size and depth, they will host their first-round NCAA tournament games as a 4 seed. And bonus, Munfield Keg and I support the idea for the Go Green, Go God merch. Jason, can you have Treese put Rima must resign on the back?
Let's go green, go God.
Yeah, we could do that.
Rima must resign.
Yeah.
You can put whatever
those
you want.
shirts up.
Yeah. Make them personalized for people, whatever you want to say within reason.
Cut Lats in, but, it's okay.
You'd have to get a hold of Lats first.
I could definitely do that. Believe me, if I DM'd Lats and say, "Hey man, I have money for you,"
he'd be around.
He'd be right back to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Chris next. I'm sad to see Gussie go, but happy when I heard Batt was leaving. Felt like the underlying tone in all the projects he announced was that he would sell out anything, including the campus, to try to appease the donor class. Hope we can bring in Hollis or someone that keeps everyday Spartans in mind.
The challenge for any AD and president and anybody who's fundraising in this day and age is you have to fundraise. You have to bring in a lot of money. You have to appease the donor class. You have to invigorate the donor class while also not being true to who you are as a campus and not pissing off everybody else. And that's not always easy. And look, the donor class is part of who, I mean, these are people who care deeply about MSU at all sorts of levels of donations. But yeah, look, Batt is not a universal home run hire. There are lots of people who aren't broken up about it. I just think it's weird that you get this far into just an initiative that was completely changing what and how MSU athletics operated, and you bolt.
Shep next. Here's what I don't get. From what I understand, Batt is on the, quote, "We are going to do everything completely by the book for NIL, collectives, the NCAA, clearinghouse, etc." Despite every school that's actually nationally competitive saying, fuck it, pay them kids, no rules, floor it, end quote. How is his no, only legit NIL 100% by the book going to play in the SEC and a dirty-ass Kentucky, for God's sake? I feel like in this era, the only way to win is to have Saul Goodman as your athletic director. And bonus, I'm currently en route to Philly, scored amazing seats for free for the France-Iraq game due to being platinum with American Airlines.
Wow, that's pretty damn cool.
Listen to this humble bragging MFer.
It's a 5 p.m. start. Yeah, just I have France in about 47 different parlays. Just need them to hit on the money line at like minus 1,000. So,
are you platinum anywhere? Like, you fly a lot.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't fly enough to be. I'm like just Delta Silver, like the lowest. I'm Marriott's. I have the highest. I have the Titanium Elite or whatever. Because that's because
what a title.
Well, that's because
Titanium Elite.
Because every college town has a Fairfield Inn, right? And that's where you wind up. So it's not like we're staying at. It's a little. It sounds better than it actually is.
Yeah, you guys really slum it.
Well, yeah, we don't slum it, but we don't. I don't mean
sweet.
I don't mean to sound it like I suffer on the road. I do not suffer on the road.
Like the bed vibrates when you put a quarter in it.
It's
so
not.
You stay at those kind of. Remember those hotels?
I've been to a couple in my life.
You've been to one to where the bed
not
would
that
vibrate?
bad, but we stayed. A buddy and I lost so much money at a casino when we were in Peoria covering state softball in Illinois that the second night we moved to a cheaper hotel and we slept on top of the sheets. It was that bad.
Nolan, they used to have beds in hotels, what was it, motels, to where you put in a quarter and the bed would vibrate. It was really at shady hotels.
That was
If you wanted to hire a ballet dancer.
To the first part
you took her.
To the first part of Jason, his firsthand experience. This is why
I do.
Yeah. Here's why.
Do what you got to do sometimes.
To the J Batt thing, look, J Batt understood what it would take to win. Now he was by the book publicly, and I think he was also trying to create things that went within the rules, however the rules were. Kentucky will have their own. There's no question. It'll be interesting because Kentucky will have their own dynamics there and their own demands for how they fund basketball and other things, and there will be. But the way things are often funded today, it's just different than the collective era. And I know, there are technically collectives still around, but it's all through, this. J Batt knows the NIL is only semi-legitimate. Everybody does. Tom Izzo does. I've talked to Izzo about this stuff. Like the NIL is not like it's not. You're doing a commercial for Front 43 and Casking Company, and so here's the money based on your value for that. It's like, yeah, this is a deal through Adidas that the school sets up that pays you way more than you're actually worth to it. The whole things are a little, and J Batt knows that. And Kentucky will be someplace where, especially in basketball, all that stuff's on steroids.
Mr. W. I don't know who I like for governor, but I will say the first candidate to say they'll immediately change the way boards are elected will get my vote. Makes me sick that the politicians decide who goes on the ballot. Well, hopefully Perry Johnson doesn't hear this show because he's going to tell you that he'll do that. Fucking Perry Johnson. Have you seen his new commercial to make him look less ghoulish, where he puts his family where, I don't know, did he rent a family? But now he has his family on his commercial now.
The man
is politics.
The man is at least 102 years old.
With that hair? What do you mean? That guy's like, he's our age, right? Not a gray hair on that fella.
Yeah. I don't think that's a reason to vote. That can be. I'm not a one policy type person, but if it is something that people will start to run on, the challenge will be: can you get enough? Do you have enough political capital and to get it done in the legislature? And is that really better? I mean, there are lots of screwed up boards that way. Again, we talked about that earlier. If you get a governor who people view as a U of M grad or Michigan State grad or as sort of anti-paying for state, funding state universities, does that person then put people on the board that align with them? And
I mean, come on, would they really do that though?
I think so.
Governor,
I think so.
I think I can trust my governor. Dan Grafe, MSU has had Board of Trustees issues for over a decade, and Couch blames the voters. If only there was a columnist that would write about the candidates. Write stories. Not everything needs to be about sports.
I've written a few.
Why don't you write some?
Written a few
Who's he
political
talking to?
stories. Yeah, talking to me. Yeah,
He's talking to you.
Yeah. In a perfect world, I would love to write a lot more than MSU, and used to do more of it. But
Well, who at the LSJ is stopping it? I would
from me
read
doing
it.
it?
Yeah.
Well, something has to give. So it's like you spend time on that stuff, and then there's no quick takes on the football game. You just
Jesus.
maybe that's
Quite
exaggeration.
a trade there. I mean,
But you know what I mean. Like
we're at the end of June.
Yeah,
There's no football games.
We don't have the staff we used to have. There was a point in time where they really wanted me within the last 7-8 years, within the time we started the show, to really expand and do less sports and more other stuff. And unfortunately, what pays the bills is the sports.
Less sports, but I mean, you could, if you have a column idea that's
sure, I could absolutely do that.
I feel like I'd read it from you.
I can absolutely do that. And you know what? It is partly on people like us to write stories if we know somebody isn't fit to do that, or to write stories about the candidates ahead of time so you get to know them and all those sorts. That's absolutely true.
Make Couch the Stephen A. Smith of the LSJ.
Don't do that.
Just make him do all this shit.
Don't do that.
Give us weather reports.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
But no, it's fair criticism because obviously, part of the reason we're in the state we are politically in this country and is we have news deserts and less informed people, and that's partly on us, and that's partly on people for not subscribing to their local paper. You don't have to subscribe to the LSJ, but if you don't have a newspaper subscription, period.
There's no need to lash out here.
Sorry, I apologize. I was going to get
we
angry.
love you, Graham.
Yeah, sorry,
You're just lashing out now.
Sorry.
Dave Lakin, sorry, Graham, but I disagree that MSU's new ethics code is somehow impeding free speech. As a board member, you can speak your mind on issues that are on the table. However, after the vote is taken, the debating and behind-the-scenes theatrics are over. Fall in line or step down. And bonus, when you purchase a service like internet streaming and you're getting a better deal, that's an existing customer, you should be expect to get screwed somewhere down the line. As an existing customer, I don't think I should have to beg or plead to get the same price as some newbie.
It's the most frustrating thing. Yeah.
God damn it, Dave.
It's the most frustrating thing.
If we had a gift card, we'd give it to you.
It's the most frustrating thing because it is.
It means the American dream's dead.
It's like in with your cable, with anything, like everything's a short-term deal, and then they get you.
Because I'm a loyal guy. I like to pay for a service. If you treat me right, I want to pay that. And then they did it with our cable as well. And we had to switch, and because Treese talked to someone and didn't know what they were talking about. So we had to actually switch, and then they found out we switched, and then they begged us to come back, and we got a cheaper rate. But now we have to cancel the other company. It's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just don't want to have to go. I had the service that we get at Spectrum. I enjoyed it, but we were paying way too much money. You know why? Because we were suckers paying this every month and didn't look into it and threatened to leave. I don't like to do that. I don't want to call it threaten to leave.
I feel like if somebody calls with a better deal, like your situation, they should have to call the other company and cancel and handle it off for you. That should be the deal.
Yeah, I'll trust that.
Yeah.
I'm sure that would go smoothly. Daniel R. Patterson next. Jumpin' J. Batt was a failed hire by MSU. Perhaps the biggest mistake of trustees was hiring a wandering out-of-state president with no MSU ties. A shakeup of the board is needed to refocus MSU on students, alumni, and the state of Michigan vote.
I mean, that's the thing. You don't always feel like everybody there is out to really shepherd and advance the university outside of their own agenda. Like, you really shouldn't have an agenda as a board member. There should be no agenda. Like, you're there. That's not really the role of a board. This isn't, again, not state legislature, not Congress. You shouldn't go in with some preconceived notion on your issues that you're going to fight for. That's not really. I mean, there can be, you can be something where you're looking to hold something accountable that hasn't gone well or that sort of thing, but it's a little different type of deal. And the problem with politics and elections is people have egos. It takes a certain level of ego to want to run for those jobs, and they want to feel important. And I don't like the idea. I don't think an elected board does you well, at least the way it's made up. You could probably find a way to do it. Again, if the election was not really a statewide election, but was done less formally through, people who were invested in the university deeper. I don't know. It's just a hard thing to change at this point. And the 8-year terms are crazy. I mean, it's just insane that 8-year terms. I mean, that's nuts.
Mojo Jojo Schadenfreude take. Dusty bouncing and the details Spiro will shed on the shadiness of why. Nice reprieve from the Board of Trustees dumpster fire as a Spartan alum. Side note, why don't the alums, students, professors with a vested interest vote for the board?
That's really the way it ought to be. And it seems obvious, so I don't know why it doesn't exist that way. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have some level of...
But let the students do it too? I mean,
well, everybody.
We got one right across from us that admitted he voted just because of names. So.
Well, students are stupid. We understand that.
Right.
And that's why
so
you
we should probably keep them out of it.
But students are only a small amount of the alumni and a small amount... Because alumni don't get to vote who don't live in Michigan. You know what I mean? Like, it only... I don't know. I would... no, I mean, students, if... I understand what you're saying, like... But if it was a separate vote that students had to go do, I think they would go a little more informed than it just being on a ballot that Nolan was checking a box at the end, right?
Yeah. Andrew Gauthier, I love golf and the U.S. Open, but I swear during the first 15 minutes I watched today, there was 10 minutes of commercials. Yeah, it was ridiculous. And not the commercials that they do on like CBS where they like zoom it out, and they play the commercial, but you're still seeing some sort of coverage. And the showing of Rory chipping out from a bunker instead of showing live action. I mean, it's like NBC, my God, their coverage was a lot of ass. I got to admit.
That's disappointing. I watched very little of it.
I mean, Tirico's awesome, but I mean, like I'm talking about the camera angles and the way that you were watching on, like sometimes on the green, I couldn't see where the hole was. And anyway. Kevin from Rochester Hills. Number 1, Wyndham Clark deserves a fan club. 2, betting on tie games seems wrong.
Well, I mean, the tie can be lucrative in soccer to bet the tie. So that's.
Oh yeah, come on, tie.
Yeah,
it's tie.
It's not.
No one score.
It's not any worse than betting the under. Is it?
I don't know. Probably not.
No, I don't think so.
Betting the under is like watching soccer. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying it's like betting the tie. You're sort of betting a very specific result. You don't want something to go over that.
You're heavy juice.
No, but sometimes you get good. I mean, sometimes the value is the tie in soccer.
Frank Vashner. Number 1, Brady Tkachuk getting traded to Florida for 3 first-round picks probably means Dylan Larkin gets a lesser return. 2, missed this last week, but rest in peace, Hockey Night in Canada and baked. This is the best U.S. soccer team ever. And bonus, we need to start a Norm for MSU Board of Trustees campaign.
Just to have a cat up there.
He couldn't do any worse.
Yeah.
Norm will agree.
You agree.
Guskowitz would have stayed if Norm was on the board.
100%.
Dude, Norm is such a whore. Like, when people come over, he is just in love. We've been getting quotes on new windows and siding, which, by the way, that's fun. And whenever these dudes have come over, like, he basically hops in their back. I'm like, dude, I'm looking at him. I'm like, bro, what is this? Where's the loyalty? You know what I mean?
You know the most
cats.
You know the most fascinating thing about
treat him like a king.
By the way, RIP Hockey Night in Canada. I think the CM. What is it? The CBC. It's no longer doing. Yeah,
Canadian Broadcast Channel. I know. Back in the day, Don Cherry. God, that's back when I used to follow hockey religious, like back in the late '90s.
To your point about new windows and siding, I did not know until a few years ago that like 10 windows cost as much as your whole house.
Dude, this MFer plopped down a $60K quote,
yeah.
And I've blurted out, "Get the fuck out of here!" I swear to God. And by the way, a non-itemized quote from this a-hole. And he didn't park in our driveway. He parked in our street. I get it. Ovid is a small town, but homeboy parks in our street, which we do have a decent amount of traffic there, a-hole. It's just because there was a little bit of shade. And my wife, T's like, hey, you can park in the driveway, which maybe gives you a hint of like, hey, dickhead. And then comes in and proceeds to drop us a $60K quote for new siding and windows. Get out of here. I will set that place on fire first.
Fix that in post, though, in case the insurance...
And no, I know. People have said it because everybody we talk to about home improvements when we're out to dinner or something, I say the same thing. And they're like, oh, don't say that. I'm like, do you think I'm really going to fucking commit arson, dude? I'm not going to do 20 years. I did 72 days, and that was like, Jesus H. Like Shawshank Redemption for me. You think I'm going to set up the house on fire and be in prison? Before I pay $60,000, dude.
It's ridiculous. That was more than.
Come on, dude. Yeah. When you walked up to the house, you really thought we were going to drop $60K? Yeah, we just won the lottery. But we're staying in Ovid.
I mean, the siding must be just the most beautiful. For $60K, the windows and siding. I mean,
they had to do a lot of build-out work and all that. But when you can't buy, and the other great thing too is that if you don't sign up today, they show you the price. If you wait 2 weeks, if you wait months, it goes up $5,000. Like I just go, I will just hire someone else. I'm not. What is this? Does this actually work? I wanted to ask the guy, does this sales tactic actually work? I mean, it must. And they're still in business, I guess. But they're trying to like shake you down.
We got some new windows, and I remember the guy came over when he left. I was just sort of like shell-shocked at the price. I'm like, is this the cost of this?
And then they show you the windows, too. Like, I give two shits. Like, it's nice, but they do, like, the guy brought in 3 cases, and I'm like, how long? What is this, a timeshare pitch? Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, dude. We're just trying to get new windows. Look at the windows in here now. I want something better. I don't need you to give me a 3D display. Like, hurry this thing up here. They all want, like, an hour from you. The one guy wanted to come back. I'm like, do not come back. Just give us the quote.
Give me some saran wrap.
For what? Dental dam?
Oh, for windows, right?
Yeah, all right. Ken Chu, in the USA versus Australia match, the U.S. was not allowed to substitute players because they didn't complete the paperwork in time. Paperwork? Are you fucking kidding me? Soccer's stupid.
Soccer is boring.
Yeah, I love soccer. I don't love the Americanization of it.
It's hard to gamble on. Ties are awesome.
So easy to gamble
on. The Asian line.
It's so easy to. It's the easiest sport in the world to gamble on. I mean, not if you don't know it, but it's the easiest sport. Yeah, it's easier than any other.
Are you
sport.
Believing in this U.S. team though? Like I'm hearing.
I believe they're better than I thought they'd be.
Unfortunately, consumed most of the Dan Patrick first hour, so I did learn a little bit.
I believe they've got a decent chance to get to the quarterfinals on the track they're going to be on, which would be pretty good. And then from there, you get one upset. You get to the semis. That's a hell of a run. I do not believe like the idea that they could win it all. The idea that you could get to the semis, even the quarters, and then beat 3 teams in a row. They're the caliber of like England and Spain and France and Argentina. It just seems incredibly unlikely. I'm not saying you can't have an upset on a given day of one of those teams, but that would they're just not as good as those other teams. So they haven't played anybody who would look. It's a great story, and it's great that they're better than we thought, and the whole team is at a level of it's the best team that they've ever had talent wise by quite a bit, I think. Although I have friends who think the Landon Donovan age guys just didn't get the same opportunities in Europe. But I think it's the best team they've had. There's another, they don't have a single like world class guy. If Christian Pulisic is your star, Weston McKennie's your star. I mean, these guys are okay, good starters on good teams in Europe. That's it. It's like having I don't know who's an average good NBA player be your if OG Anunoby was like your best dude in your national team, like you're good players. A couple of those guys, good players, but that's not,
You make me regret every time I ask a soccer question.
Sorry.
You know what I mean? Like I try to and then we're in minute 14 of it, and I go, damn, I should not have asked.
Imagine being married to me.
Oh my God, it's got to be absolute torture. Richard Kane next. Number 1, Theory.
Well, it's
Thierry Henry is one of the best. Henry, Henry out of that?
Henry, yeah.
Cockburn. Is one of the best studio analysts in any sport, and John Strong stinks. He sounds like a bad 90s wrestling announcer. And Fox and FIFA have over 300 million reasons for keeping hydration breaks permanent. #rampant greed. And 2, Guskowitz didn't know before he took this job that the board was problematic? Give me a break. MSU needs a fighter at the top, and he ain't it. The board sucks, but good riddance. And Batt is a soulless mercenary.
I think more people agree to some degree with Richard Kane than maybe it was perceived early on. And I'm not saying there aren't people who really want Guskowitz to stay. I think he was effective and could have been very effective. But, you choose to leave after that short of time. You leave the school in the lurch. Same for Batt. I mean, people are going to be really frustrated with it. I mean, and I think that's justified.
Rich Searing. Number 1, Izzo said he wanted all the alumni to stand up and speak out, or something to that effect. I think most of us would be willing to do that, but what are we supposed to do? And how do we do that, and whom do we address? 2, I know recruits don't pay attention to ADs or presidents, but the adults influencing them sure do, and I'm not sure how the hell Fitz is supposed to realistically build this program without the stability around him. And 3, congrats on your first Father's Day, Graham. Even though you love to skip my questions and takes, I still wish you the best, you big douche canoe.
Sorry, Rich. It's never intentional.
Cockburn.
Rich is an emailer, and occasionally the email ones get missed. I
agree with his number 1 though, because I love Izzo, but I'm not an alumnus, but I just would like to be told what to do on this scenario of what do we need.
Right. No, it's true. It's this vague rally around. Izzo
like a telethon or something?
Izzo doesn't know what to do either. And now ultimately, what you need is people who financially are going to give a lot. But yeah, if you really want something changed, I guess. Yeah. Again,
you really believe that Tom doesn't know what to do? I think that if he sat down and was like, I don't
think he knows how to change the board of trustees. No, I don't think.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think he knows the mechanisms.
I'm saying, but telling people what to do, trying to come up with a plan of well, what are we supposed to do about it? Besides getting 1.1 million signatures or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think the frustration he has is what a lot of people do. You've got, as he always brings up, 600,000 living alumni. It seems like that ought to be a group that can rally and get something done, and yet, what does that mean?
Graham Carpenter, number 1, what are the best things to do for my time back home in Michigan, July 2nd through the 16th? And 2, nice game to watch the Tigers win on Father's Day with Dingler scoring another home run.
Best things to do.
But did you see Jahmai Jones stretch that out? Oh, my God.
Go to a Lake Tigers game, all the stuff, the usual. Lugnuts game, wherever, wherever home is for you.
Yeah. Hammer some Coney dogs.
Yeah.
Light some fireworks.
Not too close to children, though, as Jason found out.
Yeah. Professor, Father's Day and on a Sunday is stupid. Father's Day should always be on a Saturday.
I understand this, though. I really enjoy my first Father's Day. But, I'm back at work this week, and, and you start to, and you know how it was when you were in school, and you're watching the NFL, and then they have the promos for this CBS Sunday night shows, and you think, oh, man, that means school's tomorrow, and you almost, it made you, you get late in the day, you're already your head's starting to turn towards the work week and everything. I agree. Saturday seems more sensible.
Working for the LSJ is like being in school.
Not always, but when you're spending
Why are you dreading it, though?
No, when you're spending most of the summer on parental leave.
Yeah.
It's
that's the only reason why I would have a kid, by the way.
I thought about doing every year. You have 1 week. You have 1 week back. It's it feels like there's a lot to get done, a lot to do in 1 week. That's all it is. It's just it was oh gosh, I got to be on all of a sudden, and then I'm off again through August till August 1st. It's a great deal.
Chris Eastlick question. Apparently we missed Friday. Do you feel Batt's priorities were in reverse when it comes to football? It seems the word was he wanted facilities more than NIL. Wouldn't it make more sense to devote resources to the product on the field first than use the revenue from better football to get the facilities?
Maybe. It's a good question. I mean, because you could argue now you just slap a coat of paint on something and spend the money on defensive tackles. I just think the way the money comes in is different. Those are two different ways, right? It's the direct donor capital project sort of deal, different than how you pay players, and that's what it is. I mean, they ought to have enough money for the rev share, and then beyond that, they ought to, they ought to have ways and mechanisms through either donors or sponsors who are affiliated with donors, however you want to do it, to get more than that. And but yeah, you could make that argument. I think it's a fair thing to question and criticize. And this is Sparta Collective or whatever you want to call it. It wasn't even really a true collective the way that some others are. They didn't want anything to do with that anymore, and that was helping pay for the MSU tennis program. They had some football players on that they had hockey deals with that. That was that was something that they could have probably kept doing, and because I think 22 other schools still have a deal with that organization.
Matty B, number 1, if a trustee leaks every thought to Nolan Finley, we can't know that they're not leaking competitive secrets to their alma mater. Might be conspiracy theory, but don't trust it. They should also check their own school if they're worried about integrity and oversight. 2, Graham, you said recently schools aren't doing collectives anymore. I went and looked at official athletic websites. MSU is one of very few Power 4 schools that does not advertise a collective. Sure, they are not supposed to be, but saying schools aren't doing them is not reality.
Well, a lot of schools, there might be some that still have them or purpose them differently, but like Alabama, Notre Dame, Georgia, Nebraska. I mean, there are a lot of schools that have either gotten rid of them or wound them down. A lot of schools have gotten rid of them, and if they're still, I don't know every school, but largely a lot of major programs are not using them and have gotten rid of them or have moved to a different mechanism.
The Luke Kennard of Southern Maine next. July as fuck hot take. Graham knew about Fitz being hired before anyone else in the Spartan orbit. They asked him to use this show as a trial balloon to see how it would go over. Graham suggested Fitz as a coach on this show months before anyone in the media heard rumors.
I didn't know anything. I didn't. I thought it made...
You knew before all of us? You wouldn't even tell me.
I thought it was a sensible hire. I thought it was
people thought you were nuts when you said that.
I don't want to say it was a likely hire, but I thought it was a hire that made sense that you could see happening. And so it was. So
you read the tea leaves.
It was very much a tea leaves hire. Yeah.
Damn, it's these tea leaves I always miss. Yeah. Max, the Freep has taken the next step. We can no longer consider them part of the blue wall. It has actually become a recruiting arm for the school. The multiple recent articles by Go Blue Tony about football recruiting rival, the constant drivel we have seen from Wojo and Angelique. Why are Michigan beat writers allowed to be fans of the schools they cover, while MSU beat writers are required to be objective? Is Michigan actually paying part of their salary?
So Tony Garcia is a Michigan State alum, and at one point was a pretty heavy Michigan State fan in his life. So I think I think you're missing. I don't think you got this right on who these guys are. I think you may think that.
Is he talking about Tony Paul?
Oh,
possibly.
Yeah, but
he might have been.
Yeah, he's a Michigan State grad too.
Oh, is he? Okay.
So I don't know. Yeah. I know sometimes it can feel that way, but it's not. It's just not. It's just your feelings towards Michigan, sort of. I think also color how you view the coverage. Again, I'm willing to acknowledge blue curtain on certain folks, but like Tony Garcia is not one of them. That's not somebody who has this undying, love for Michigan that's just brimming underneath the surface.
Scotty Green's El Camino next. The Wyndham Clark hate seems a bit much. The guy got mad once or twice. So what? Just feels like people are bored and just looking to boo someone. People should redirect Wyndham hate towards Mickelson. Oh, wait, that douche doesn't even play anymore. And bonus, Zoltan is perfect for World Cup coverage. His disdain for Alexi Lalas is hilarious. Give me more studio analysts who don't give a shit and just speak their mind.
Watching Alexi Lalas be put in his place a little bit is fun. And it's not because Lalas has a lot of political takes and all that stuff. It's less to do with, I just don't like guys. I don't think he's that good an analyst. And somehow he's been sort of given this 30-year, 25-year run as like the voice of, every time there's a big soccer game, we turn to Alexi Lalas. You tell me there aren't better people for that in this country? It drives me nuts. It's one of the things that holds us back is we're stuck in this. Alexi Lalas is our representative of soccer in America. Come on, man. He wasn't even that good a player. He was okay. I mean, that's just tons of better players that have come out of here since then and speak the game at a better level.
Kevin M. More Hoff, less Lats.
Come on.
No.
You like Lats. Yeah.
What?
This is what I see. Everybody stops and they staring at me. I got passion in my pants and I ain't afraid to show it. Show it. I'm sexy and I know it.
Come on. Big John Hogg, that's the best way to have less Lats, though, is to write that in.
Yeah.
Big John Hogg, number 1, played 76 holes Friday and 18 on Saturday. How many MGs would that take, Rube? 2, it's July take time. What's the best regional fast food we have in Michigan? Was told I was missing out on Halo Burger. And 3, Lats for president and AD. We need vertical alignment, and that dude is vertical. Yeah.
How many played 76 holes Friday and 18 Saturdays?
I want to know how Big John Hogg, I'm not calling you a liar, but how do you play 76 holes on a Friday?
I would need
do you
lights,
start
of course,
from sun up to sundown? Like last Father's Day, I was lucky enough to tag along with Michigan fan Jordan on his first up at Treetops. We had the course to ourselves. We played 54 holes in 2 days, right? Like 76 holes in one. I need to hear how you do it is all. And it wouldn't, I don't know. I can't take as many MGs. There's definitely be some joints on the course though. But the edibles, I got to kick the edibles for when I golf because it's just sometimes it can go sideways.
Best regional fast food in Michigan. Underrated. Like Hot and Now was the thing back in the day. That to me, like $2 got you a nice burger.
I wouldn't say nice burger.
It was a burger.
Dude, some of those burgers came out. I mean, the fries were nice, but we were kids though. Like, those were smash burgers before smash.
Is Rallies everywhere? Is that a Michigan thing? That might be everywhere. It's a good question. Regional fast food.
I don't know my fast food history.
Yeah, I should know more. I don't.
Kewpie's around the corner. I mean, their olive burgers.
Well, Kewpie's. Yeah, but they're not fast food. They're more. Well, I guess they are fast dish. Yeah.
But Big John Hogg, tell me how you played that many holes. Couch on Fire, bless you boys. Here we come. And 2, great U.S. Open finish. I wouldn't want to putt on those greens. And 3, Jason, I don't know why, but I want to sprinkle a little bets money on Spieth for the Open. Maybe top 10 or 20 money. Thoughts? Fool's errand. I mean, good luck to you. I'm not going to bet. I love Jordan Spieth. I just, depending on what top 20 money would pay, I would need to see the odds. If you can get it now, and they'll probably give you plus some, I don't know. If you can get 4-1 on your money for a top, I don't think they would do that. They probably wouldn't give you 4-1. Anyway, I don't know. I just don't like the roller coaster of Spieth. I've followed this week in, week out, so it's just, I don't know. If you want to sprinkle like $5, he'll probably be 40-1, 35-1. So, but good luck with Spieth, dude. I've done so much betting on Spieth that I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Ralph E. next. I really tried to become a soccer fan during the World Cup yesterday. Beyond boring. I'll keep trying. Shinnecock Hills Golf Club, absolutely humbling the golfers. Kept pulling me back. Golf won. That course was the real entertainment. Good thing Wimbledon is coming.
I love Wimbledon. Starting this weekend. It's incredible. Early mornings. It's the one thing that sucks about, like not having, like the one thing I love about the British Open especially, and World Cup when it's in other countries, I want to start watching things at 5 in the morning, 7 in the morning. I want to, I want something on.
Yeah, but not everybody is an old married guy with a kid and wants to get up that early. There are people with lives. I get it. Like I go to bed early and I don't mind getting up, but I'm not going to sit there and be like, it's just absolutely great to be up at 5 a.m.
Oh, but 8 in the morning.
Golf.
There's nothing at 8 either. You would love to get up at 8 and have something on.
I get up at 7, yeah, but I'm just talking about like when the Open does happen. I mean, because of different time zones, and then it's at, tee times are at 3:28 a.m. It's why I don't watch a lot of the DP Golf Tour, because it's like, I'm like, when is this thing on?
Yeah.
Where are they at? I hate it. Kyle Neff next. Number 1, the hydration breaks are the perfect time to grab another beer. And 2, Carlos Medlock finishes his career with at least 1 All-American award. And bonus, Keith Mitchell has the best style on tour. That's why they call him Cashmere Keith. He's a stud. I love Cashmere Keith.
Carlos Medlock, by the way, and the rest of Michigan State's incoming class and transfers will be at the Moneyball Pro-Am starting Tuesday night at Holt High School. And we'll be on our Wednesday show. We'll break down of what I saw there and everything. I think it's going to be one of the more anticipated and entertaining Moneyballs and Wilds. The final Cohen Carr one, right, which is he's sort of built for that, knows how to entertain, has always been great with the fans. You got a lot of an intriguing new class, which is what people go to see. I think it'll be one of the better turnouts we've had.
Matt Salisbury. I feel like Dylan Dingler has been tested for PEDs a ton this year. And bonus, I have my yearly physical this year, and as a hypochondriac, I hate getting blood work, even though I feel perfect. I will sit there and compare all previous numbers and wonder why they changed.
I usually know why.
Yeah, but see why I look at it that way. I mean, as long as I like getting kind of like any kind of test done, because that means I know I'm not dying. Unless they change like really drastically, but then then go back to the doctor. I feel like getting blood work done, I have no issue whenever my doctor says that. Besides having to, they keep sending you feel like you pay your copay, but anyway. Boring.
The only thing that happens when I get blood work done, every once in a while I get a nurse who
puts a finger up your butt?
Nah, just not great at getting the vein correctly, and like if you wiggle around too much in there, I'm gonna pass out almost. So I'm gonna have trouble getting to the car.
Don't you go to like a lab? I mean, but that's all they do all day is stab people with those,
Yeah, you'd think every once in a while. Not great. I'm not gonna speak to the place.
Find a vein, huh?
Yeah, usually I'm good.
Tie you off,
boy,
dude.
Man.
Clint Winball Bainey next. Number 1, the Tigers fire skipper on August 13th. I wish it wasn't so. 2, I've watched every second of the FIFA World Cup. I lied. I haven't watched 1 second of it. I'd rather watch Olympic curling in a shed on a 10-inch black and white TV in January with no clothes on. 3, I fucking love nachos.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, nachos are incredible.
Especially when you get like a giant bag. You can go to Qdoba and get their giant bag of chips for like $8 or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's not bad.
All right, great deal.
Over under August 13th. Does AJ survive that?
Oh, I'm over.
Yeah,
Hammer it.
I think so.
Are you fucking kidding me? Sign him to an extension. Guy loves this franchise loves spitting in our faces. Izzo for Prez. So many posts on Sunday claiming greatest dad. I like to issue a challenge and do a 10-event dad-a-thon. A thon-a-lon? What is this? Yeah. To determine who is the greatest. What events would you include?
Well, I think for somebody who's a new dad, and I'm not yet in this stage, but like you see all these videos of like young babies like falling off couches and falling, and the dad, like you just have these dad instincts where you reach out and you grab them as they're falling. So you'd have like you wouldn't do it with real children, but you'd have like these mannequin things that would like fall off dangerous.
The final round though, you have to do it with a real child.
With a real child? Yeah,
I'm okay. Final round only.
I would include that.
Hans Jurgen, number 1, cheers to my wife for letting me spend a week fishing out of state with the guys. 2, jeers to Graham for betting the Tigers under 76 wins and for Iran to win the World Cup.
I didn't bet Iran to win the World Cup.
He's got that Iran ticket. It's Iran. 3, the only thing worse than Trump's deal, i.e. capitulation to Iran, is one of Graham's columns.
Fair enough.
And bonus, Dingler and McGonigal have the clutch gene.
They do. We all know what it is. It's what Jemai Jones doesn't have. It's what Torkelson doesn't have.
Hey, watch what you say about Jemai Jones. He's a human being as well.
Sorry.
I could say it. Jake Hawkins. Number 1, after all the chaos that made Tom Izzo speak out how frustrating he's feeling, I've decided that only him and MSU basketball team will have most to all my support going forward. I'll still continue to somewhat watch the football team in fits, but they really got to earn it going forward. And 2, damn the Tigers, they've done it again. Just when I think all hope is lost for the season, they spike my interest again by sweeping the White Sox after losing 2 series in a row to the Guardians and Astros. Part of me feels like Mike Valenti, just lose and sell at the deadline. And 3, enjoyed one last meal at Coral Gables restaurant on Saturday before they closed for good soon. Have you guys ever ate there? It really sucks another local restaurant is shutting down at a time when local restaurants need support more than ever.
Yeah, I have. It's been a while, and it's one of the legendary places. It goes back to when East Lansing was a dry town, and here it's not a place I've frequented all that often, but it's not really close to where I am.
Do you believe Hawk's number 1 though? I think Hawk is going to be when the season rolls around, because it's like when I say I try to like
Hawk is a ride or die.
That's what I mean. I appreciate what Jake is trying to say there, but it's like me. I say that kind of stuff, and then I'm like, as soon as it's around, I'm like, oh, yeah.
And let's see what the Tigers do against the Yankees. To me, there seems to be a very clear line with the Tigers. When they play certain types of teams, they got a chance, and there's a level of team that they just don't do.
Yeah, but what do you mean? Like, I don't understand what we're trying to get it going for. What, like, we think World Series or just play? We're just okay.
Just wasting time.
All right. Finally, the jerk guy. Lastly, here, soccer may not be as boring as I thought, but I'd still much rather watch rugby.
Poignant thoughts from the Upper Deck jerk guy to wrap us, as always. Rugby's not a bad sport. I've watched a lot of rugby today.
Confusing.
It is. Yeah,
holy hell! It's like cricket. Like, what are you guys doing?
Cricket's even more confusing.
This is a wiffle ball field. What is?
We appreciate all of you for producing our show. As always, we appreciate Nolan, the intern, for chiming in and giving us some insight of the younger generation. It keeps us fresh. We also appreciate our friends at Front 43. What day is it? Nope, sorry.
Monday.
We do appreciate Front 43 and Cast Company. Always do, always will. But also Firekeepers Casino and the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook. Download the app today or swing by Dacey's Taproom and Sportsbook on I-94 in Battle Creek at Firekeepers Casino. Enjoy the vibes, the casino floor right there, the restaurants, the whole deal. Appreciate Muskox Flannels as always as well. We'll be back Wednesday. Maybe we'll get Cody Stavenhagen on. Talk a little Jemai Jones. Good show, man.
All right, show.
Couch in the Room.